Alright, where my Black Panthers at? Say all power to the people. Reading Wretched of the Earth. Left off on page 10. We're going to start on page 10. In short, the third world finds itself and speaks to itself through its voice. We know that it is not a homogeneous world. We know that enslaved peoples are still to be found there, together with some who have achieved a simulation of phony independence, others who are still fighting to attain sovereignty, and others again who have obtained complete freedom, but who live under the constant menace of imperialist aggression. These differences are born of colonial history, in other words, of oppression. Here, the mother country is satisfied to keep some feudal rulers in her pay. They're dividing and ruling. She has created a native bourgeoisie sham from beginning to end. Elsewhere, she has played a double game. The colony is planted with the settlers and exploited at the same time. Thus, Europe has multiplied divisions of opposing groups, has fashioned classes, and sometimes even racial prejudices, and has endeavored by every means to bring about and intensify the stratification of colonized societies. Fanny hides nothing. In order to fight against us, the former colony must fight itself, or rather, the two struggles form part of the whole. In the heat of the battle, all internal barriers break down. The puppet bourgeoisie of businessmen and shopkeepers, the urban proletarian, which has always in a privileged position, the lumpen proletariat of the shanty towns, all fall into line with the stand made by the rural masses. The veritable reservoir of national revolutionary army of a national revolutionary army, for in those countries where colonialism has deliberately held up development, the peasantry, when it suffers far from more from than the workers in the towns, in order not to die of hunger, it demands no less than a complete demolishing of all existing structures. In order to triumph, the national revolution must be socialist. If its career is cut short, if the native bourgeoisie takes over power, the new state, in spite of its formal sovereignty, remains in the hands of the imperialists. The examples of the Kataganga illustrates this quite well. Thus, the unity of the third world is not yet achieved. It's a work in progress, which begins by the union in each country after independence, as before, of the whole and of the colonized people under the command of the peasant class. This is what Fanny explained to his brothers in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. We must achieve revolutionary socialism altogether everywhere, or else one by one we will be defeated by our former slave masters. He hides nothing, neither weakness nor discord nor mystification. Here the movement gets off to a bad start. There, after a striking initial success, it loses momentum. Elsewhere, it has come to a standstill, and if it is to start again, the peasants must throw the bourgeoisie overboard. The reader is sternly put in guard against the most dangerous will of the West, the cult leader and the personalities, Western culture, and what is equally to be feared, the withdrawal into the twilight of past African culture. For only true culture is that of the revolution. That is to say, it is constantly in the making. Fanny speaks out loud. We Europeans can hear him, as the fact that you hold this book in your hand proves this. Is he not then afraid of the colonial powers may take advantage of his sincerity? No, he fears nothing. Our methods are out of date. They can sometimes delay emancipation but not stop it. Or do not think that we can change our ways. Neo-colonialism, that idle dream of mother countries, is a lot of hot air. The third forces don't exist, or if they do, they are not only the tin pot bourgeoisie that colonialism has already placed in its saddle, or Machiavellianism has little purchase on this wide awake word that has run our falsehoods to earth one after the other. The settler has only recourse to one thing, brute force. And when he can command it, the native has only one choice between servitude or supremacy. For what does Fanny care whether you read his work or not? And hit to his brothers that he denounces for it is to his brothers that he denounces our old tricks, and he is sure we have no more up our sleeves. It is to them he says, Europe has laid her hands on our continent, and we must slash at her fingers till she lets go. In a good moment, nothing can happen at Caesar, Elizabeth, or Algeria, but the whole world does not hear about the rival blocks take opposite sides and hold each other in check. Let us take advantage of this paralysis and burst into history, forcing about our invasion into universality for the first time. Let us fight. Let us start fighting, and if we know other arms, then pick up the knife. That's enough. Peace.